There's lots of information, masses of it, as you've said, every day of the week about every consumer virtually on the planet. But I just sense there are huge dangers of privacy in all of that.
Some will call it the surveillance society. Increasingly, the word privacy comes up in conversations around data, how we use that data. However, there's another way of looking at it, and I would say that people need brands and brands need people. It's just that in the early 21st century, we can help those brands and those people to find each other when they need each other the most. I think we need to be respectful of that data and that information, but ultimately, when you and I are looking for knowledge and information, or the quality of the currency of information, whether that could be buying a new bathroom, going on holiday, looking for a house, looking for a restaurant, etc. The data has to be there to enable us to find the right things at the right time. And that is also something that the network society can deliver, which traditional mass media communications just simply couldn't, because it wasn't able to do so. So I think that one is right to ask the question. I think one is right to be vigilant about it. People have always had data about us. People have always tried to have information about who we are, where we live, what our demographics are. If it's done in a good, mature way, I think that there can be benefits both for buyers and sellers as a consequence of using those data flows properly.
Okay, so there's a whole new methodology that's got to be learnt by companies and by organisations, but can you give me some examples of where companies have already benefited?
Absolutely. For example, in Japan, there's a service called Help Networks, which allows people which have skills, whether it's carpentry, babysitting, maybe even using their muscles to lift a few boxes, where they can see where people are within a hyper location and be able to connect and find each other, so that, let's say I need some shelves putting up, you or somebody else has a certain set of skills that can help me do that. I can then find that person via a geolocation map, and it has information about who that person is. There may even be recommendations about how good that person is. And I can then start to sort of connect and to discuss with that person when and how they might be able to come and help me out.
And that seems fine for truly local companies in a small specific area. But do you have any examples of multinational companies, for instance?
The BMW winter tyres campaign that ran in Germany last year, there was a 30% response rate to a mobile campaign that went out as the first snows started to fall in Germany. People that have bought cars that year between spring and summer was sent a little message which says, is it not time to consider this is the time to buy your new winter tyres and winter rims. The people were sent a picture of exactly the right model of their car in the right colour. The 30% response rate meant that for a $60,000 outlay, BMW got a return of over $45 million. That for me is about information being timely, relevant, and in fact contextual, all built out of real insight and data being used to enable us to make decisions that perhaps previously wouldn't have done. And the last one I would just briefly mention is called Girls Walker. It's a fashion magazine for girls in Japan, set up in 2003. They fill stadiums of 40,000 girls. The girls that are on the catwalk come from the Girls Walker community. They can buy their fashion accessories and clothes from the mobile phone. Last year they made 83 million euros.
So let's do a bit of crystal ball gazing now. Based on everything you've said so far and everything you say in the book, what do you see as the way forward for marketing in the 21st century?
Well, I would say that social marketing intelligence is the black gold of the 21st century. The ability to use data and information and apply that to a completely different way of creating valuable services and enabling services for people, even though it has a commercial agenda, is part of this new methodology. We are in the middle of rewriting the rules of marketing. And I think that any business or organisation that is not able or prepared to learn those new rules in terms of how they create greater value, both for you and for me and for other people on a day-to-day basis, means that they simply will not survive.